No, they didn't undergo any surgery. Uh, both guys were experiencing just soreness from the previous situation, being held out precautionary. Both guys, a lot of experience. So I'd expect when we start game prep next week that both those guys will be back with us.
And still all players on track to be ready for Alabama?
I'm trying to think of. I mean, it seems like we're going to have. I mean, other than long-term guys. I mean, which there are not very many. Yeah, I feel like we got pretty much the full complement of our guys. You know.
Manny,
Can you give us your
you probably know, I'm sure you know about the Brian Thomas situation. And give us some comment on that. I know Edwin's on the staff.
Yeah. Certainly, I don't want to speak for their family. I did speak with Edwin today. You know, it's important to respect their privacy in this time. It's been a very emotional 15 years. They are thankful for the people who are responsible for securing the arrest. And really, I'll just leave it at that. You know, when they're ready to make a statement, I think they will. We're just you know, our thoughts are with the Pata family. You know, because we know how great Edwin is. We've gotten to know his family, and we got a lot of love for them.
Did the players talk about it all with you guys privately? Do they know?
I wouldn't know all the private conversations. I'm not sure about that.
Manny, now that you've had a chance to watch the film, where do you feel the football team is going from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2 this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the way it goes, I mean, scrimmage one's almost, you know, in the far past. We've made improvements this week, I think, on both sides of the ball. The competition has been good. This week, we have really made this week, we're kind of treating Saturday as the old third NFL preseason game. You know, this is the one you're trying to peak for, because after Saturday, we'll really kind of assess the roster for the next 48 hours and really kind of get into Bama prep after that. And I think the guys are pushing through. And I think Saturday is going to be a really good competition. I'm kind of excited to watch it.
How competitive is corner right now with Tyreek and DJ, obviously Al coming back?
It's highly competitive. Yeah, and you know, DJ played great in the spring. He hasn't really put a foot wrong this camp. I think the Corey Couch in his competitiveness is still showing up. Tyreek, while is learning the scheme, you know, doesn't have maybe the background in the scheme that the other guys have, but you know, he brings different dimensions, different tools. And then I think Al getting back, not only what Al's done at corner, but I think, you know, his positional flexibility and being able to help out in nickels and things like that. We can never have enough corners. We always seem to run out. So having those guys back there has been it's been great, and I could suspect them all playing a role this season.
I saw that Jabari wasn't wearing neck brace a couple weeks. I think I saw him out there during practice at Open Us. Where's he at?
Yeah, Jabari practiced full today.
Yeah. Well, I guess what was his issue? Was he good?
Oh, he just took a knock. You know what I mean? But he's fine now, and we've had him back in team drills the last 2 days, so it's good to have him out there.
Chance Williams, I know he's kind of been on and off. So I know
Yeah, Chance is like a day away or two. Saturday may come too soon for him on the scrimmage, but same thing. They expect him at the latest full go by next Monday.
I mean, you guys have obviously had a chance to see some of the new arrival freshmen. Are there guys in that group that you think for sure will help you guys this season?
Well, yeah, it's funny when you say will they help the season. There are a bunch. I think the thing you never know with freshmen is at what point. You know, as I mentioned before, we think very highly of this class. I know you've all spoken about the 3 wideouts this week. Those guys have shown up. Certainly the tight end, Elijah, shows up every day in practice. He will certainly have a role. You know, Cody Brown ran well on Saturday. You know, we like the young linemen on both sides of the ball. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they all sort of, you know, pop during the season and what day becomes their day where they fully get it. But it helps us in depth, helps us in special teams. Those guys will make us a better football team.
On the 2 guys on defense who changed positions, obviously we know how well Keontra Smith is doing. Has that even exceeded your expectations? Striker to will linebacker for him, and Amari to striker from safety. How has that gone?
Yeah, I think Amari brings us an added dimension of physicality to that spot. That's never been questioned, his toughness. He's obviously very intelligent. He will still have a hand in safety. You know, I think he can still feature there as well. And again, he's a guy that's played all over our dime defense, so he provides great value in that way as well. As for K4, as you mentioned, I mean, you probably wouldn't be surprised by his performance because in the 6 days when we just threw him at will in the spring, he looked so natural there. And now with the summer of meetings and then, getting more familiar with the position, he shows up every day in practice. So it's been fun to watch him play.
The ACC announced their threshold in terms of rescheduling for COVID-19. So you guys closed that threshold. I know you said 2 weeks ago you were close to it. And how much is it still emphasized, now, just because there's not going to be schedules when forfeits?
Well, I think that I would be much more concerned if we hadn't crossed that threshold, which we have now. Like I mentioned, we're finally past the 85%. I think we're at 87 or something like that. And those are big. When you say 87% or whatever, the number of guys that are left, it's a pretty small number of guys, and we're still trying to chip away at it. But what could cause, what we still talk about is behavior. Our behavior can't change from what it was a year ago, regardless of vaccination status. There's simply too much to lose. I think that the team gets it. Certainly the behaviors of people on the outside aren't going to be the same as what they were a year ago. Society's more open, which is fine. We got the student body coming in this weekend. It's just very important for our guys to continue to protect the program every way they can.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you all.